The Drudge Report had a pretty jarring front page today, and I don't know if any of you guys ever go to Drudge Report, but I feel like their front page is always jarring because it looks like a website from like 1987. They haven't updated it at all. But anyway, it featured the N-word 7 times. And when you click on the link, it took you to a Hollywood Reporter article that mentioned that word only twice in the entire article. And I just checked it again to see what they linked to it, if they changed the link or anything, and they did change the link to a Daily Mail, which is a UK tabloid, to a Daily Mail link that talks about how Django Unchained is basically this like anti-white racist movie.
No, but that's awesome because the original link was to an article that mentioned in passing, it was a very long review of the movie Django Unchained, and generally liked it, but it mentioned, hey, you know what, they used the N-word a lot because that was within the context of the time. Mm-hmm. And then Drudge used that as an excuse to put the N-word 7 times and actually spell it out with 1 letter missing. Mm-hmm. And he's like, so presumably with Tarantino's picture, he's saying Tarantino, especially with the link, Tarantino used it too many times, so might he be, what, racist, right?
Yeah.
But then he switches it to a link where they say that it's racist against white people. So wait a minute, you got to make up your mind. Is it racist against white people or against black people?
It's Drudge going, look at me, I want attention. And it's about appealing to their white readers that are paranoid about minorities, that are scared that there's going to be some sort of black uprising. And it's the same thing that you see on Fox News too, except Fox News targets Muslims, right? It's sensationalistic, there's no real point to it, it's just to draw attention to their website, which, you know, unfortunately we're feeding into right now too, but we're doing it to show you the stupidity of Drudge Report.
Yeah, you know, the press used to, and this is why it's important to do this story, the press used to go to Drudge Report almost exclusively, if you don't remember the bad old days when there were no progressives anywhere on television, Fox News ruled everything. Remember during the Iraq War, they fired all the progressives that were on MSNBC like Phil Donahue, and they tried to outfox Fox, and everybody's waving the flag, it's wall-to-wall conservatives. And back then, Huffington Post isn't around, the liberal blogs aren't as big, and so Drudge dominated back in those days. All those idiots in the mainstream media, they'd be like, what's in the news? I don't know, let's go to Drudge and find out.
You're absolutely right about that. In fact, when I was in high school and we did speech and debate, I was in a junior college speech and debate team, and I remember the speech coach always told us to go to Drudge. But the funny story is, every time I went to Drudge, I was like, what the hell is this? Like all these weird links and no, I'm not going to Drudge. It's not appealing to my eye, okay? So I never went to it. But at that time, I didn't know how biased it was. So.
Yeah, but that's the other amazing thing. Like, they're all obsessed about liberal bias. Oh my God, look at the New York Times didn't cover the pro-life thing as much as it covered the pro-choice thing or whatever. That's our old arguments they used to make, right? And then you have a site that's 100% conservative bias, right? And like, it's not like people don't know that Drudge is massively conservative. And they don't even mention his bias back in the day. They're like, oh, well, obviously go to the Drudge Report to find out the news. It was sick, man. And that's why I actually think that websites like Huffington Post did make a big difference. I hope our show made a little bit of a difference, and some of, Keith Olbermann, Rachel Maddow, et cetera, on MSNBC made a difference in knocking this back. And now Drudge Report is nowhere near as large as some of the more progressive websites. Partly because his design stayed in 1957. Okay, if there were websites in 57, they would have looked exactly like that. And by the way, not just in his layout, but also in his ideas.